So guys, I've got my Akai here today and I am going to change the backlight in it, which I've got from Retroillumination. Sorry. So I've got this and I'm going to put this backlight apparently with this instructions into my S3200. Whether or not it's going to work or not, no idea. I've also got a kit here which is a compact flash ROM SCSI reader thingamajiggy, and I'm going to try and put that in there as well. As you can see down here, I've bought a parallel zip drive, tried reading that in CD extract, but it doesn't work. I think I'm going to have to get a SCSI drive to plug into this. Good news is I've seen a few SCSI drives on eBay at the moment. They don't have power supplies, but fingers crossed, and I should be able to pick up a SCSI drive quite cheap. Okay, so first of all I'm going to remove these screws. I've got 4 screws here which I'm going to take off now. I have no idea if I'm doing everything correctly, but just going to go by instincts because I've opened these samplers up before in the past. So once you remove the 4 screws, there is another screw at the back to remove, which I'm going to do now. So once the screws are off, then the lid comes off. Plonk that down somewhere safe, keep all your screws together. Okay, so now having a look around in here. Wow, so this backlight, for this backlight to come off, I believe I'm going to have to undo these 3 screws here to get the front panel off. No doubt probably this button comes off as well. So all 3 screws are out, and I believe there's some screws underneath. I've also got to remove these buttons. They pull off quite easily. Now I'm no Akai expert, but I believe this is how you do it. Let's see if that comes off. Give that a fair. Might need to use it. Alright, that looks like it will just, we don't need to pull that off, so just be careful with that button now. Let's have a look around inside here, man. So I can see there's some memory in there. I think that's the SCSI port there. Not sure what that is. Comment down below if you know what these are. Port P11 and P12. I'm going to undo the bottom screws now. Okay, so it looks like there's a lot more screws underneath here that have to come out. And then once you get rid of these screws here, I've just noticed I pulled it, it starts to come loose. Just be careful, take your time. So it's important to find the right size screwdriver. I found one with a nice chunky handle, and I had a few goes on this star head to find one that fitted quite well, because these are quite tight to undo. And you don't want to sort of over thread them so that you can't put them back in, which would be a nightmare. Okay, so I've taken off the front face, and I can see it says something about a mode disc 3.5, and I wonder if you could just sort of pop that out and stick something else in there, because look, there's a space for you to put something here. Who knows what a mode drive is? Comment down below if you know what that is. So anyway, I've got this to this point now where I've got this front panel now. There must be some wires and stuff connecting this. It's a bit of resistance here, so I'm going to focus on what I'm doing and I'll come back to you in a bit. So according to this, there's no soldering to do, so I'm going to take this thing out. I'm going to be very careful with it. So it says here Retroillumination. Now this one's got a bit of a dog end here. I just hope it's all right. Right, so let's give this a go. So I can see that there's 4 screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm assuming that those screws come out. I'm going to check the instructions, which is very vague, and I'll come back to you. So I can see that the backlight is fixed in place with this little plug here, which I've removed to expose this little connector. Now I've got the task of getting this backlight out and fixing the new one in place. Okay, pretty confusing instructions. Showing you some old videos, so I'm going to try and do this my way. I believe I'm going to take off these 4 screws here, so I'm going to give that a go. This is the front, yeah, so looking down inside there, there's like a plug there, but there's also a plug here which looks like it's easier to take out. So I'm going to take this plug out and I'm going to get a little pair of scissors and I'm going to cut this cable tie so that it slides through easier. Okay, so I've unplugged this plug now, leaving this wire here. I've basically taken a picture as well of how this thing is set up because I don't want to mess up. Now I'm able to get this panel out. So before I go any further, I think it's a good idea for me to test the backlight that I've got already before I take this one out. So I'm going to put this all together, back together. I'll plug this plug back in, and I am going to switch it on. No, it's dangerous what I'm doing here, but because obviously it's all exposed. But I'm going to switch it on to see if this light lights up. If it lights up, then I know it's going to work, and I'll have to, because at the moment it looks like I'm going to have to take out, there's some solder there, and I'm going to have to use a soldering iron to get rid of that bit there. Pretty risky stuff, guys. Okay, so wish me luck, guys. I'm going to plug this in now. Switch it on. Let's see what happens. Oh yes, look at that. I don't know if you could see that, but look. Okay, so the dimmer doesn't work. Okay, so it does power up. Turns out the dimmer is not actually part of the backlight. So I'm going to put it all together now and see where I'm at. I'm heating up my soldering iron. I'm using a low wattage soldering iron, 48 volt one, and I'm going to turn it up to 500 Celsius just for the time being, just to get the temperature up. Once I've got the temperature up, I'm then going to, hopefully you can see that there's 2 pins here and here, and they're literally holding the wires in place for the LCD. So once I heat these up, they'll come off, and I should be able to take the LCD out without any problems. Okay peeps, so the soldering iron's hot. I've got my solder sucker ready. Okay, so I'm going to get my solder sucker. I'm going to heat up the terminal till the solder melts. I see it's melting now, and then suck the solder up. Once I've done that on the 2 terminals, I'll then be able to take the wires off. Okay, so that's off now. The 2 wires are off now, and I should be able to just slide out my old LCD and slide in the new one. There you go. So that's the old one, and as you can see, I've kept everything intact. So next I'm going to slide the new LCD in. So you see that? So I'm going to slide that in there like that. That's the new LCD in place. There's nothing holding it there now. Now I could go a step further, and I could actually crimp these wires and stick them on there. But now, for now, I'm just going to leave it at that, yeah? So now, let me go and test it. So the next stage is I'm going to do everything in reverse now. So I'm going to feed that back through this little cavity. Feed this plug back through the cavity. Then pull it through all the way in. Try not to twist the ribbon cable, because if you damage that ribbon cable, you're doomed. You don't want to end up bricking your Akai. Come all this way. Connect it back up. Also, remember the way around it put in the first place. Push that down. Now, I'm going to switch. Put the plug in, turn it on, and see what happens. Wish me luck. Bang! No, just kidding. Right. Whoa! Yes! As you can see, let's have a look. It's looking good. Let's see what that LCD looks like. As you can see, backlight is on. And it's looking good, mate. Plenty of brightness. You can actually see it on the camera. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay guys, look in here, right? These screw holes all line up nicely. You'll actually have a little bit of the screw overlapping onto the LCD to hold it in place. So you don't have to worry about taping that in place or anything like that. So that's the beauty of the new make. So I'm going to put this back together again. You're going to have this little cable dangling about. Now, if you want, for your own preferences, you could probably shove it through here. I don't know. Shove it out the way somewhere. Tie it up with a bit of cable. You could snip it. But I don't want to snip it, because later on I might actually want to come back in and desolder this. I'm going to see how it goes. And I may want to come in and just tweak it a little bit more and actually solder this directly to the board. So I'm going to feed it back through here and pull it back through the hole so that it's just sort of about in there somewhere. I'm going to tie it off somewhere, yeah? Okay, just in case you guys get caught out, yeah, there's a bit that just delayed me 20 minutes. I didn't realise. There's a little kind of slot bit along the top of this panel, and it's got to go in the groove inside it. So get it in the groove, man. It's got to go in the groove. So pop it in the groove and then put it in there. Otherwise, you won't. Oh shit. So make sure before you assemble your Akai, you assemble this panel properly, right? And line up the screws and pop them all in. Otherwise, you'll be fiddling forever and you might not get it to sit flush, get frustrated and break something. I've just been delayed 20 minutes because of this little thing, so I thought I'd better share that with you. Alright, so now I'm going to put that board back together again, and then I'm going to make another video on how to install the compact flash SCSI reader. And as you can see, folks, my Akai is now powered up, and I've actually got the screen control on and off, and I've also got the backlight working perfectly. Even the dimmer's working, so I didn't even anticipate for that to be working the way it is. So it does work. You can go now and you can get your brand new, now I don't work for these people, I actually bought this off them, but I just wanted to share this video. I've got a brand new, as new looking screen, pretty much as new as I can remember. Full brightness, everything looking lovely. And I'll put a link in the description down below from where you can buy one of these backlights. I hope you found this video useful. Please like, share, subscribe, and look out for my next video where I'm going to fit a compact flash SCSI reader so you can use it like a hard drive. Take care, God bless, peace.